Hey book nerds, welcome to my channel. I really like doing themed videos for readathons. It makes me feel like I'm more involved in the readathon and it just kind of keeps my interest going as well. So for Thrillerathon I thought that I would do two videos where I talk about my favourite thrillers of the year so far and my least favourite thrillers of the year so far. I'm going to talk about 5 for each video. And this is the positivity one, so these are my favourite thrillers of the year so far. These have all been rated 4 stars, 4.5 stars, or 5 stars. There is one 5-star thriller in this list. But yeah, so these are my 5 favourites so far. They might still be my favourites at the end of the year, they might not, but I'm going to talk about them now. So I'm going to start with the lower one on my list. These aren't really, they are kind of ranked, but it's very least ranking, and that is A Baby Teeth by Zoje Stage. I think I read this in February, maybe January, and this is about a family of 3 people, and it's a mother, a father and a daughter, and it's mostly about the mother and daughter, and this daughter's very young. I think she's about 6 or something when the book starts. And she has a fantastic relationship with her father. She's daddy's little angel, but with the mother they don't get on, and the mother's scared of her daughter, and the daughter is kind of creepy, but there's 2 sides to every story. This is a really good thriller. I loved this one. I wasn't expecting to love it so much, but I found it really intense, and I loved the kind of uncertainty surrounding the story. I'm not going to say loads about all of these because I've talked about them before. I'll link reviews down below if I have them. They'll be spoiler free. But also I just don't like saying much about thrillers because it's best to go in blind, so I'll just kind of describe the plot. And I liked this one because of the unique angles it took on this kind of story. Because usually in this kind of story you'd have the wife insisting that the daughter was crazy and the husband being like siding against his wife, but that doesn't quite happen in this book, and it just kind of raises more questions, and it's just really good. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Perfect Stranger by Miranda. I buddy read this with Nicole from A Beautiful Chaos of Books. I'll link her channel down below. She did not rate it as highly as I did, so we'll say that I'm just throwing that out there. Obviously all these opinions are my opinions, and you might not have the same tastes as me. But this is about a woman who moves to a small town with an old friend, and then that old friend completely vanishes around the same time that this man is murdered. And the main character is basically trying to find where her friend is, whilst it appears that her friend has completely erased herself from existence. So essentially the police and everyone don't believe that this person actually existed. I think that's all I can really say about the plot. I really like this. It's got a lot of tropes that I really enjoy. It's got a good setting. I didn't like Miranda's other book, All the Missing Girls. I hated that book, and I thought I would hate this one, but this is a really solid thriller. And it was one of those ones where I couldn't put it down. I just had to read on. I had to find out what was going to happen next, and I didn't see a lot of the stuff. I didn't see it coming at all. So this is really good if you want kind of traditional atmospheric thriller that leads you up a couple of garden paths and stuff. In contrast, we have The Third Mrs Durst by Aguirre. This is a very recent addition to the list. I actually changed what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about Where the Missing Go by Emma Rowley, but this one bumped it off the list. I finished this 2nd of August. I'm not sure what order these videos are going up, so it might be that I've already talked about it in my mid-month wrap-up, or this video might go up first. This is a really good thriller. This is an arc. It only comes out on the 8th of August 2019, so it's a very fresh book. And this is the story of Marlena, who comes from a poor background, and she essentially pursues this career as a model specifically to catch the eye of this man, Michael Durst. And Michael Durst is this wealthy, powerful man, but he's had 2 previous wives and they've both had kind of unpleasant ends. And Marlena knows this, and she knows that he's not a nice man, but her goal is to become his wife, and that's all I'm going to say about the plot, because you kind of don't know what's going on with Marlena the whole time you're reading this, and that's what drives the main tension in this book. It's got a fairly straightforward plot for thrillers. It's not one with tons of twists and turns, but the uncertainty comes from you not knowing what Marlena is thinking or planning or what she's going to do next, and that's just really good. It creates this fantastic tension, and I was genuinely surprised by how much I love this book. It really caught me off guard, but I loved it, and I definitely recommend checking it out. It's maybe not for every thriller fan, but it's worth looking into if you do read thrillers. I can see why some people might not like this book, but I loved it. Next we have An Anonymous Girl by Greer, Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. These are the same authors of The Wife Between Us, and I read this way back in January, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't remember the plot beyond what the blurb is, which is probably for the best because it means I'm not going to spoil anything. But the reason that this is on this list is because I rated it 4.5 out of 5 stars, which is super high for a thriller for me. And I know that I loved it, and I don't remember why I loved it so much, but I know that I loved it, and it's a weird choice, I guess, to include on my favourite thriller list, but I know what a great experience this was. So what I know of the plot is that it's about this woman who agrees to take part in a psychological experiment, but the experiment is not quite what it seems, and she starts to wonder if it's influencing her life. That's not the best description, but it's the best one I can give right now. Yeah, this was just a fantastic thriller experience. The authors are really great, the writing style's good, the plot like I said, I don't remember the plot, but I remember the experience of reading the plot, and I know that there's a lot of stuff that surprised me in this, and it kept me on the edge of my seat. And if you haven't read it yet, again, check it out, because it came out January of this year, and it's a really, really good thriller. And the final book, my favourite thriller of the year so far, and perhaps the only thriller I've ever rated 5 stars, is If We Were Villains by ML Rio. This is, I think it's a young adult thriller. I don't know if I feel comfortable classing it as a young adult thriller, but it's about teenagers, so I guess it kind of is a young adult thriller. The classification system's a mess. We know this. Anyway, this is about Oliver, and Oliver has just got out of prison for murdering someone, and he meets up with a detective who investigated the case, and the detective is retired now, and the detective's basically dying, and he says to Oliver, I want you to tell me what really happened. I'm not going to tell the police or anyone, I just want to know for my own peace of mind. So Oliver starts telling the story, and most of the book is just set in the past from that point, and it's about Oliver when he attended this school entirely for Shakespeare. It's basically a school training Shakespearean actors and actresses, and it's about the dynamics of their friendship group, and it building to this murder. I don't think you know who is murdered, and it's just this really brilliant book. The writing style is not usually my cup of tea. It's very kind of pretentious and flowery, but because they're Shakespeare students, it works really well, and it sets the tone, and what drives this is the characters, and I just got completely absorbed into this book. It's definitely going to be one that I reread at some point, and I really loved it. Hi, this is Laura from the future, just jumping in to say that I recently read The Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney. I pre-filmed this video, but I gave this thriller 5 stars out of 5, so this would definitely be on the list had I not pre-filmed it. I'm not going to talk about it now. Watch my mid-month wrap-up if you want to know my thoughts on it, and I'll also link my blog post down below. But I just wanted to throw that one in as an addition because I love it so much, and you should read it now if you haven't already. Yeah, so that was my 5 favourite thrillers of the year so far. Let me know what your favourite thrillers are of the year so far, if you read them. If you don't, let me know some of your favourite books of the year so far. I hope your Thrillerathon is going well. Thank you so much for enjoying this video. Sorry, that was a bit presumptuous, wasn't it? Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If not, I'm going to assume you enjoyed it anyway, because clearly I'm that type of person. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, it helps me out massively, and I hope to see you next time.